Hello everyone and welcome back to another F1 Manager 23 video. It's been such a long time since I've last recorded an F1 Manager 23 video, and today we're back with another experiment video. Yes, finally. So as you all can see, I demoted Max Verstappen to AlphaTauri. Basically, in this video, I want to see if Sergio Perez is able to win the championship. Maybe even the constructors by himself. So he puts Nico Kari alongside him. So surely he's on his own. Also, Nick de Vries is out of F1. Just like in real life. So, yeah. Let's just see what happens. And I'll be simulating this season. I'll see you, well, with a few highlights, I guess. Face cam is going to go off, though. So, yeah, I know, sad. Such a shame, isn't it? Anyways, let's see if Sergio Perez is able to win his championship. Alright, so here in Bahrain, Sergio Perez did indeed win the race while Nick de Vries got P10. How the hell did he do that? So, yeah, let's just continue to Jeddah. Yeah. So, in Jeddah, it's Perez once again in first place. It's also fastest lap, so that's not bad from him. And Nick de Vries once again not having a great race, down 4 places. In P7 is where he finished. So in a rainy Australia, it is Charles Leclerc that wins the race above Perez, who was very, very quick. Well, not Perez, but Leclerc. He went very quick here. Once again, Nick de Vries losing a place. But yeah, this means that Leclerc is getting closer to Perez. It's just an 8-point difference. Let's continue to the next race. So I don't know how he did it, but Leclerc once again had a very good race. Perez had a bad one. I would say P3 is not good. So the Azerbaijan Grand Prix has been won by Carlos Sainz with Leclerc in P2 and Fernando Alonso in P3. Perez had a horrendous race, like absolutely terrible. P5, which means Leclerc is now in the lead of the championship by 2 points. Let's see what will happen at the Miami Grand Prix, I think. Yeah, let's go. So in the race, it's Carlos Sainz that wins it in Miami. Followed by Fernando Alonso, Charles Leclerc, and once again a terrible race by Perez as he finishes P4. So that means Leclerc extends his leads to Perez, and Carlos Sainz is actually getting closer to Perez now, so things are starting to get interesting as Red Bull's now also passed by Aston Martin in the constructors because of Nick de Vries being so slow. And Max Verstappen actually getting points now. So that's the Imola Grand Prix done, and it is once again Charles Leclerc that wins. It's followed by Carlos Sainz and Fernando Alonso. Perez once again P5 with another terrible race. So that moves him down to P3 in the driver's standings, way behind Charles Leclerc now, and also behind Carlos Sainz, with Fernando Alonso getting closer and closer. So on the streets of Monaco, something crazy happens. And Ferrari once again did a great strategy. So Leclerc got second and Perez got the win, which is actually insane. A good race for the Mexican this time. As you could see by Carlos, it's a great strategy from them as Perez takes over second place in the standings and gets a bit closer to Leclerc. So it's Charles Leclerc that wins in Spain, since Perez had a terrible race again. Not a great strategy whatsoever, going soft, medium, which is weird since he used softs, which of course do not really do well. Which means, well, Leclerc extends the lead in the championship, and well, Red Bull ain't really gaining anymore. They are still below Aston Martin. So it's Leclerc winning again in Canada. After, well, Perez just could not match the pace in the wets. Or well, in the Inters. Even though the fastest lap does say it's kind of matched, he was not quick enough in the Inter conditions. And thus Leclerc extends the lead to Perez. And now the gap is 28 points. So Fernando Alonso wins in the sprint, and Perez had another stinker of a sprint. So yeah, he got third. So Fernando Alonso wins in Austria then, and that's an interesting one. As Charles Leclerc gets P2, gaining 4 places, and Sergio Perez loses once again another place and isn't even on the podium. So it's starting to look like Perez is not gonna win right now. And Sergio Perez wins the British Grand Prix. So that means he does get closer to Charles Leclerc. Actually gaining 13 points since Leclerc had a pretty bad race today. So now the difference is just 18 points and everything is once again possible. After a 4th place, after taking pole in Hungary, I don't know what Perez must think. I mean, that was a dreadful race. I don't know what went wrong there exactly. But losing 3 places just ain't it. And well, Sainz wins it, which means that Perez once again losing out to some points, unlike last time, I think. 24-point difference now between Leclerc and Perez on top, as also Alonso is getting a bit closer now. In the sprint, Fernando Alonso that wins it, and Perez loses yet another place, and with the penalty that he gets, he might not even start in the... So it's Stroll that wins here in Belgium with a Leclerc DNF, which means that Perez, after a grid penalty, gains 11 places and gets P4, which means he gets a bit closer to Leclerc in the championship after all. However, it's still a 16-point gap, which is still quite a bit, as Alonso is nearing together with Sainz. And it's Sergio Perez that wins at Zandvoort in the Dutch Grand Prix. He gets even closer to Charles Leclerc, which is now a 6-point gap actually for the championship lead. It is Stroll again that wins in Monza in Italy, of course. Yeah, the home of Ferrari, where Ferrari did not really do well, and that means that Perez and Leclerc are once again tied for the championship lead. It's both on 281 points. Now, it is interesting to see what will happen at Singapore. It's Sergio Perez that wins in Singapore. So that means with a P4 for Charles Leclerc, that Perez has officially taken the championship lead again. It's now a 13-point gap, which is still possible for Leclerc. So let's see what will happen at the next race. And so it's Sergio Perez again who wins in Japan. After a spin from Charles Leclerc, who was actually not running that badly, he went down a little bit and ended up in P6, getting only 8 points, while Perez took 26. This extends the gap for Perez to 31 points between Charles Leclerc and Perez. So it's starting to look like Perez is getting away now. Well, let's see if this form continues. Carlos Sainz wins in the sprint, getting 8 points for Ferrari, while Leclerc gets 6th. Perez gets a weak P4, but still extends the gap to Charles Leclerc. It's Perez who wins in Qatar as well, which means he extends his gap to Charles Leclerc even further than before, which means it's currently a 46-point gap between Charles Leclerc and Sergio Perez. It is looking like this battle is done, but of course there's still plenty of races left, so everything can still happen in this battle for the championship. So it's Carlos Sainz that wins in the sprint after Perez had very bad sprints. Know what happened there, to be honest, but he just did not have any pace. And as you can see, 14 seconds behind. It's not good enough. Let's see what will happen in the race. And just when I was about to say that the championship was done, Perez had a terrible, terrible race in the United States. As Leclerc did a massive comeback compared to qualifying, getting a 16-second gap on Carlos Sainz as well, which is insane. Crazy race this one, which means that Leclerc gets closer to Perez and the gap is now only 28 points. It's Carlos Sainz who wins in Mexico after another terrible performance by Perez, getting only 5th, which means he only gets 10 points while Leclerc gets the fastest lap with 19 points, which also means that championship gap gets even closer. It's just 19 points now between Perez and Leclerc. So Perez wins the sprint, which of course gains him 1 point more than Leclerc to extend his lead by just a single point. Let's see what will happen in the race though. That will be a big one. So Charles Leclerc wins in Brazil, followed by Sergio Perez after Perez took a grip penalty with like components or something. Was a very close race once again, and it does mean Leclerc gets 6 points closer to Perez. And with just 2 races remaining, it's just a 13-point gap. Let's see what will happen in Las Vegas. Okay, I don't know if I'm putting this in the video, but what the hell? Max Verstappen will actually start from pole position in AlphaTauri. Okay, that's hilarious.
That's it. Sergio Perez has secured the title this year. No stranger to the podium.
So as you all saw at that cutscene, Sergio Perez gets the win here in Las Vegas, just ahead of Max Verstappen in an AlphaTauri. Leclerc couldn't get more than 5th in his led race, which means Perez had a good enough of a gap to get the championship. I'm not gonna do Abu Dhabi because, well, it's actually done and it's official. I don't know how I titled this video, but yes, Sergio Perez is able to get the championship on its own. Constructors is also official already. Ferrari won that one, and Red Bull is 3rd behind Aston Martin, mainly because, well, Nick de Vries didn't get that many points in. But yeah, Perez wins it ahead of Leclerc, and yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, then please do make sure to hit the like button and also make sure to hit subscribe button. And I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.